setting up a military hardware capacity and capability in Ajaokuta steel plant.
Federal government affirms commitment to key targets for steel development in Nigeria.
There are some places that we must have concrete roads.
Make haste while the sun shines. Road contractors get directive to scale up operations.
This school has always been proactive in dealing with issues of security.
We want the government to increase the security.
Also tonight, we bring you the story of how an alleged threat letter is unsettling the university community in Lafia. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Hingino John Adams will be joining us from Lagos later tonight, and Benny Adams will be bringing us trending stories from the world of business. And Ayodeji Makinde will be bringing us update on the AFCON countdown on the AFCON 2023. Thank you so much for joining us. You can watch this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng live, and also on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. I am Jummai Yusuf. The news in details. In what appears to be renewed hope for the Ajaokuta steel plant, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the constitution of a committee to appraise and recommend measures for the takeoff of the project that has dragged on for decades. Minister of Steel Development Shaibu Audu disclosed this to State House correspondents after his private meeting with the President. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab has more.
Steel Development Minister Shaibu Audu visited his principal on an issue that obviously holds keys to the industrialization and infrastructure development drive of this administration. His defense counterpart, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, was also part of a private meeting to brief the president about their recent visit to China. The visit to Luan Steel Group is now promising, with the Chinese company indicating interest to set up a new steel plant in Nigeria with potential to create thousands of job opportunities.
They would send an advance team to Nigeria after the Chinese New Year, sometime in end of February 2024. The reason the Minister of Defense and I jointly met with Mr. President was that we are setting up a military hardware capacity and capability in Ajaokuta steel plant. And based on that, the Chinese team would help us to build that military hardware capabilities in Ajaokuta in one of the production units.
More promising is a renewed hope for the Ajaokuta steel plants, a project that has suffered lethargy for more than 4 decades. About $5 billion is needed to revive the entire plant, but the minister reveals the current administration is immediately opting for the low-hanging fruits, which requires about 35 billion naira to activate the light steel mill section of the plant. While the president has reportedly directed local sourcing of the needed fund, the Federal Ministry of Works has indicated interest to offtake the prospective products.
The president, under the Renewed Hope agenda, plans to construct about 30,000 kilometers of road across Nigeria, where they will need about 7 million metric tons of iron rods. We can produce about 400,000 tons of those iron rods in Ajaokuta if we're able to restart the steel plant.
The Ministry of Steel is equally preparing the ground for a $5 billion investment by the Jindal Steel Company, earlier indicated to the president on his visit to India.
We think that if we're able to complete all these projects that has been approved by Mr. President, we should be able to, including the revival of Ajaokuta, we should be able to create northwards of 500,000 jobs and bring in billions of dollars into the economy.
An immediate constitution of the implementing committee is expected in days to come. From the State House, Musbau Danwahab, NT News.
Still on the renewed hope agenda of President Ahmed Tinubu, Minister of Works David Umahi is advising road contractors to take advantage of the dry season to fast-track work on ongoing projects across the country. In the words of the minister, and I quote, "We will not allow the dry season, which is favorable for construction, to go to waste." The minister, who gave the directive when he met with contractors in Abuja, tasked them to go to work immediately. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
Standing ovation and a wave to the tens of contractors was a happy ending of a meeting, which was without any smile from the minister.
There are some places that we must have concrete roads.
His words were stern, insisting that works are carried out in conformity to standards.
We are working very hard to see how we can begin to introduce solar lights, and some of the projects, especially completed ones, we hand over to private sector to improve upon and put facilities in our service stations to make life easier, increase the working hours of Nigerians, make the roads safer, introduce night travels as it used to be.
The minister did not leave without setting a new target of constructing 150 kilometers of road in each state, including the Federal Capital Territory, within 1 year.
This special project is excluded in our proposal of what we are to complete in this year. But it's a commitment from this ministry that we will complete this Abuja-Kaduna, Lagos Ibadan, the second Niger bridge, the 2 bypasses in Asaba and Onisha.
But he left behind information sharing among the contractors, an exchange of pleasantries, as well as ideas towards meeting the hurdles and deadlines. In Abuja, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Now, Abdullahi Mohammed joins me live in the studio for some clarifications on the minister's directive to road contractors. Abdullahi, strong words coming from the minister there, and I'm sure it has sunk into the minds of the contractors. Now, is there a linkage between the minister's directive and what some Nigerians have described as the rather slow pace of work by some contractors on perhaps ongoing projects, which some are complaining of paucity of funds?
Jumwe, first of all, I would like to let you understand that this is a minister who is a civil engineer. And when he first came to office, what he did was to go across the country and then assess all the ongoing contracts and then come back. And he has continued to meet with contractors, trying to make sure that they ensure that whatever they put on ground for us there conform to what it takes for road construction in Nigeria, especially the fact that he has tried to introduce the concrete roads. In fact, he has said all the time that all new contracts that he is going to give out is going to be on concrete rather. And also the ongoing contract, which has been on asphalt, there must be shoulders that will have concrete. And today's meeting did also go that way. He has insisted that almost all of them must go back to work, because this is the right time for them to, go back to, continue their work, especially as it is the dry season, and this is the best time for such contracts to continue.
Now, Abdullah, you've traversed the length and breadth of Nigeria in the course of your reporting for NT on road networks in this country, and I, for once in years, I've not traveled on the Kano Maiduguri road. I was able to travel there. I slept throughout because it was so smooth. Now. Does this directive also apply to all contractors, including those already mobilized to site or others yet to receive any form of mobilization from the government, in spite of having clenched the contracts? Does it apply to them also?
It applies to all contractors, and the fact is that any contractor who has meet the requirement for taking up contracts must have the capacity, because the first thing that must be met is the capacity to deliver, and that is the reason why none of them will fold their arms and sit down and say they won't go back to field and continue their job, because at first they have the capacity. And don't forget, the federal government has every right at any point in time to say that this contract they have given you, if you are not able to go and continue the contract, I can't decide to terminate this contract. They have their right.
So what was body language like from the contractors when the minister was issuing these strong words of advice to them?
Of course, they understand, his language, and all of them are ready to go back to continue their work. As you can see, this is not the first time they has met them, and almost every time when they finish this meeting, it's about, shaking hands and then giving assurance that they are going back there to continue their job.
Okay, Abdullahi Mohammed, thank you so much for your contribution to this topic. We appreciate you as always.
Thanks for having me.
Keep up the good work. And from Port Harcourt, we hear the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubura, has pledged commitment to the completion of the Igbodo Road project linking Rivers and Imo State to ease the difficulties currently faced by travelers. The governor, who expressed concern over the deplorable state of the road, gave the assurance when he paid an unscheduled visit to the area. Oshinachi Samuel has details.
Section of the Igbodo Road, which is about 3 kilometers, was initially exempted from the earlier construction of the Igbodo-Eche Road, making trips to Okpala and its environs difficult for commuters. This will soon be over, as Governor Fubara has promised to commence construction on that section of the road. Governor Fubara drove through the entire stretch of the bad section of Okpala community of Imo State to assess the state of the bad section and the level of work that would be required. He notes that the immediate past administration did a great job when it reconstructed the Igbodo Road, hence the need to do justice to the remaining section.
We as a government will see what we can do immediately to complete this section so that there will be very easy traffic along this route.
Already, the state government has made provision for infrastructural development as it received the highest share in the 2024 state budget. From Igbodo community in Eche local government area of Rivers State, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
And now to security issues. Troops of the Nigerian military have arrested some suspected extremists and kidnappers in Buhari Area Council of Abuja and the Tafa axis of Niger State. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made the disclosure at the periodic news conference on ongoing military operations across the country.
For the reports that have come concerning the FCT environs, as I speak to you, operations are ongoing at those locations. In the last 1 week, we have arrested several of them, and they are providing intelligence to support our operations.
Details indicate that 40 kidnapped victims were rescued, 49 terrorists eliminated in combat, while 111 were arrested in the last 7 days.
That's the ground, right? So some people want that mineral, and to get that mineral, what do? They want to displace the community who is there. It's everybody's business. On the Kaduna-Abuja highway, where terrorists were going to cross the road and they were effectively engaged by troops. Unfortunately, some civilians were caught up in the crossfire. We were after them and they couldn't remain where they were, so they had to move out. And in the process, we still had to engage them. We cannot leave them. We have to destroy them.
Similarly, the troops are said to have also arrested 30 oil smugglers, destroyed 60 illegal refining sites, 65 local boats, and 71 illegal storage tanks, all linked with illegal oil bunkering activities. Meanwhile, a letter sent by suspected kidnappers threatening to attack the Federal University in Lafia is unsettling the university community. Coming on the heels of the abduction of some of the university students last month, residents on and off the campus are calling for an immediate beef-up of security by the relevant authorities. Sa'adatu Awalu tells us more.
The students are resident within the Federal University Lafia are living in fear following the anonymous threat later on plans to attack students and kidnap massively after resumption. This prompted the institution to beef up security around the institution. The information officer of the institution, Mr. Ibrahim Abubakar, said the school is not aware of the letter and that the presence of the security personnel has nothing to do with the alleged letter.
This school, under this Vice Chancellor, Professor Sheikh Abdurrahman, has always been proactive in dealing with issues of security.
Since my assumption of office, we have had series of meetings with the management of the university, and we have fortified security within that area.
On the part of the student, they appeal to relevant authorities to ensure their safety in schools and around the university to enable them concentrate on their studies.
Want the government to increase the security.
In November last year, over 9 students were kidnapped in Gandu community, close to the institution where many of them reside. In Lafia, Sadat Awale Saliu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Supreme Court earlier today affirmed Umar Eno Bassi as the duly elected governor of Akwa Ibom State. The 5-man panel of justices gave the order in a verdict read by Justice Abba Aji. Omenka Amarachuku reports that the Apex Court struck out the 3 separate appeals brought before it.
The 3 separate appeals filed by some governorship candidates in the March 28 election were seeking nullification of the victory of Akwa Ibom State Governor Umar Eno on the alleged certificate forgery. The decision of the Supreme Court followed the withdrawal of the 3 appeals. The Court of Appeal in Lagos had in November last year affirmed the election of Governor Umar Eno of Akwa Ibom State. Dissatisfied with the appeal judgment, the appellants, APC and its governorship candidate Akanimo Udofia, YPP and its governorship candidate Aban Albert Bassi, as well as the NNPP, approached the Apex Court for the determination of the appeal. Counsel in the matter had made spirited attempts to convince the Apex Court that Eno Bassi and Bassi Eno were not same. As such, the governor allegedly forged his secondary school certificate. Their argument, especially forgery allegations, did not go down well with the Apex Court justices, who queried the lawyers on whether the West African Examination Council gave evidence to establish the criminal allegations. Upon admission that WAEC did not testify in the matter, all counsel in the matter opted and separately withdrew their appeal.
And what the Supreme Court has done has been to confirm that Pastor Moino is not only the governor of Akwa Ibom State, but that he has genuine certificate.
The court, has decided that, okay, this is the line of action you have to take. We are duty bound to comply with that order of the court.
Also, the Supreme Court has reserved appeal judgment of the PDP challenging the re-election of Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun. In Abuja, Omeka Marchuku, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. You're welcome back. The Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development says it is getting set to become a world-class provider of safe, secure and comfortable air transportation, one that will be self-sustaining and pivotal to socio-economic growth. Iyere John reports that this is the projection of the newly inaugurated executives of agencies under the ministry.
It's a fresh takeoff for the aviation industry in Nigeria, as the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, renews his determination to revolutionize the sector. Newly inducted in this room are the executive officers and directors of all aviation agencies. The directive is clear, as outlined by the Minister.
Your appointments signify a two-way street. Success will be praised. I repeat, success will be praised, yet any shortcomings will be met with scrutiny.
Other speakers at the event expressed optimism about the renewed hope mandate in the aviation sector.
Our 8 priority areas of the President, aviation and aerospace development, sit within economic growth, and those are the particular areas of priority that Mr. President really holds dear to him.
on her loyalty and support for her vision, and will leave no stone unturned to achieve it.
Highlight of the induction was the signing of the performance bond with the minister. Some of the minister's 5-point agenda is to ensure strict compliance with safety regulations, improvement of infrastructure, development of human capacity, as well as optimizing revenue generation for the federal government. In Abuja, Ian Ray John, NTA News.
Now let's take you back to 2023 and how the issue of the housing deficit in Nigeria was handled and the lapses that subsist, with rising concern over the number of Nigerians impacted. Our correspondent Francis Udojo takes a look at how the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development fared in the past and the projection for the days ahead.
Housing deficit and affordability are major issues in Nigeria as governments after another try to resolve. Inadequate funding and lack of accurate data to ascertain the number, category of people, and areas for adequate attention and many other loopholes have caused setback in housing delivery. However, a sigh of hope seems to have set in with the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu separating the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development from that of Works to enable it stand alone to deliver its mandate. To bring the initiative to fruition, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, set up a housing reform team of experts to look at all areas of housing delivery, abandoned federal projects by contractors since 2012, and ongoing housing partnership projects were inspected by the Minister of Housing and decisions taken to restore agreements. A meeting of federal housing agencies was also held for robust synergy. Financial institutions were equally engaged to help provide necessary funding. Meeting with UN Habitat was also a plus. While the need for accurate data generation is key, the ministry engaged the National Population Commission ahead of the national census for accurate data generation in tackling housing deficit. At the 12th National Council of Lands, Housing and Urban Development meeting in Kaduna State, decisions were also taken to review the Land Use Act of 1978 to suit current housing demands and how to harness local and international credit scheme for housing infrastructure development were made.
The meeting resolved and agreed that there are other options of getting this housing finance that we can explore.
Having taken necessary measures, government has signed an MOU with 3 companies set to deliver renewed hope cities and estate of 100,000 housing units across the country over the next 4 years, beginning with the first phase of 20,000 in Abuja, while the 80,000 units will be spread across 6 geopolitical zones of the country.
This MOU signing, we're ending the year 2023 on a strong vote and settling a solid foundation for a strong start for a new.
President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to put in place very friendly investment policies, remove hurdles to investments.
In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news as governors on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, are rallying for the renewed hope agenda of the federal government, while conversing for massive public support for its success across board. This was at the 2024 first meeting of the year of the Progressives Governors Forum in Abuja.
We continue to support him. We will take his policies to the grassroots. And as subnational leaders of our great party, ensure that our people come on the same page with the thinking of the government, which its primary objective is how to secure the country and provide adequate welfare to the good people of our dear country.
The forum applauds the practical steps taken by President Tinubu to change the socio-economic and political narrative of the country and pledged their support to the presidency.
The Progressive Governors Forum are united in supporting the administration ably led by our ebullient President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR.
On the forthcoming off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo states, the Progressive Governors Forum says it is ready to engage the people for victory and development of the country. The Borno State government has expressed commitment to revive the South Chad irrigation scheme in order to provide sustainable livelihoods for resettled communities. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum made the commitment at Wulgo community in Ingala local government area during an on-the-spot assessment of irrigation farms, where he also emphasized government's commitment to expanding irrigation activities along the shores of Lake Chad. Mohamed Goni reports.
Governor Zulum has always emphasized that continued palliative distribution as part of humanitarian support to the citizens is not sustainable. Hence, the need for medium and longer-term durable solutions. The governor visited 2 farmlands in Gamboru and 1 in Dambore, earmarked for cultivation of 150 hectares as part of efforts at resuscitating South Chad irrigation scheme. The strategic response aimed at generating employment opportunities and boosting food security in the region comprises communities along Lake Chad that include Gamboru, Dambore, Ulgo, Marte, and Kirenoa.
Water is not a limiting factor. Why should we waste our time even in developing many irrigation schemes in areas that we don't have water, while water is abundant here? It's easier for us to transport the communities here rather than to exploit the potentials of water there.
The governor, who noted measures taken by the State Ministry of Agriculture towards supporting farming activities across the state, also emphasized the broader strategy to reactivate irrigation schemes across Borno by exploiting the potentials of Lake Chad Basin. It will be recalled that Governor Zulum dropped on the Lake Chad Basin shores along Baga for about 2 hours to explore the basin's opportunity for irrigation and transborder commercial activities. While in Gamboru, Governor Zulum condoled the families of 2 members of civilian JTF who lost their lives in operation, pledging to sponsor their children to study up to university level. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
To ensure more commitment to the African Union, that report will come in the course of our bulletin. Now, Hingino is standing by in Lagos with more reports on NTA Network News. Hello, Hingino. It's good to see you. Compliments of the season.
Lagos State Government is set to commence the redesigned and enhanced Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative of the federal government, aimed at tackling poverty among 15 million indigent families and households across the country. To kickstart the program, the federal government has organized a one-day training for Renewed Hope cash transfer facilitators across the local government and local council development areas in Lagos. Ese Onwamaka has details.
These 186 conditional cash transfer facilitators, drafted from local governments in Lagos State, have the very tedious task of reaching out to poor and vulnerable households captured in the National Social Safety Register. But with this one-day capacity training to acquaint them with digital gadgets to effectively capture beneficiaries, the task ahead of them is simplified and they are good to go as soon as the Renewed Hope conditional cash transfer is rolled out.
It's going to capture the rural and also the urban. That's the effect of subsidy removal as getting into so that they will receive succor from government.
There are some people that they don't have account. We will now recapture them and we use their name or BVN to register them.
More than 283,000 beneficiaries across the 57 local governments and local council development areas will be given 25,000 naira for 3 months to cushion the effect of the economic challenges.
The current administration now decided to sustain and take it forward in such that they have even increased the number from the 2 million beneficiaries that we did under NAPS in 2016 to 2022 to 15 million.
This is the way the federal government can reach out to the poor of the poorest, to reach out to them. And this fund will go a long way from moving in from about 60-something thousand to 208,000. It's a whole lot.
We selected them
based on the criteria that they are OND and they must have been in the community, working in the community for years, and they are quite familiar with the terrain.
The Renewed Hope National Conditional Cash Transfer is expected to raise the economic status of 15 million families and households in the 774 local governments across the country. In Lagos, Ese Awamaka, NT News.
With its status as Africa's fifth single largest economy, road infrastructure remains a catalyst for economic development of Lagos in order to facilitate trade and ease commuting of its close to 20 million population. Year 2023 was an opportunity to expand the infrastructural scope of the megacity with the rehabilitation of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Third Mainland Bridge and other critical roads top on the priority list. Joel Pupola in this report captures the infrastructure development in Lagos in year 2023.
Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, is home to over 20 million people. Road infrastructure plays a pivotal role in sustaining the development of the center of excellence. With road infrastructure being one of the teething problems of the state, the federal government is constantly evolving means of addressing it. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is one of the busiest interstate routes, known for heavy vehicular movement. The gridlock occasioned by the construction is in tandem with the popular saying, "No pain, no gain," especially when the project was approaching the critical stage.
Of course, government is working, the roads are being, but the traffic is still very tight.
Vehicular movement became a jolly good ride on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, with the Minister of Works, David Umahi, determined to change the unwanted narrative with regular inspection.
98% done. This section 1 of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, section 1 being done by Julapeja, section 2 is being done by RUCC. That one could be said to be 95% because the carriageway express is said to be up to 100% done.
One of the core objectives of the current administration in terms of infrastructure is to ensure that bridges are in good shape and pass integrity tests. Lagosians are hoping that Apapa Expressway and the Lagos-Badagry Road project will be given attention in the new year. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NT News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Network News continues after this break. Do stay.
Renewed Hope Initiative, a pet project of the First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, is up and running. Meeting targets, fast touching lives. Renewed Hope Initiative comes with a clear interventionist mandate, catering to the poor, needy, and vulnerable.
Empowering women is not just a slogan for us in the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, but a commitment towards a better life for families.
It's good to know you're still there. Now let's bring in Benny Adams with trending news from the world of business. Hello, Benny.
Thank you and welcome to Business. The International Labour Organization's World Employment and Social Outlook posits that joblessness and the jobs gap have both fallen below pre-pandemic levels, but global unemployment will rise in 2024, and growing inequalities and stagnant productivity are causes for concern, hence the advocacy for a living wage.
Poverty, particularly with this inflationary economy that may even worsen their situation. So it's important to ensure that they get that living wage, which will allow them to raise and lift themselves up out of poverty, so that we can expect a better social justice.
And so one of the important considerations for countries that wish to try to improve performance in their labor markets, to reduce the jobs gap, to bring more people who would like work but have not been able to find it, is to address low pay and poor working conditions in this regard.
And taking a look at the market, investors gain 313.39 billion naira as the all-share index advanced by 0.70%. The market closed higher by 572.66 basis points, ending the day with a positive market breadth. The total volume traded declined by 46.55% to close at 877.28 billion naira, valued at 14.41 billion and traded in 14,919 deals. Transcorp was the most traded stock by volume with 74.54 million, while Zenith Bank was the most traded stock by value with 1.98 billion naira units traded. At the close of trading, the market recorded 46 gainers, 22 losers, and 53 remained unchanged. And on the global scene, Europe stocks closed lower after U.S. inflation beat M&S down 4%. Japan's Nikkei closes above 35,000 for first time since February 1990. South Korea stocks rise after central bank decision. Let's take a look at the figures on the global scene. And that is...
Welcome back. The Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria has introduced a new automobile safety kit to its members and the general public in an effort towards curtailing road crashes and other preventable accidents on Nigerian roads. Correspondent Omeka Amarachiku reports that this is aimed at complementing government's effort on the transportation sector. The report.
Let's hear the applause. Uproad!
This is the official unveiling of the automobile safety kits by the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, written in partnership with West African Automobile Services Limited, which signals a new era in the transportation sector with safety of lives and property on the road as a key priority.
The launch of this initiative is a significant milestone for us. It represents our unwavering dedication to promoting road safety and reducing the occurrence of preventable accidents.
Introducing the safety kits is just the beginning. The real test lies in effective enforcement. We need collective support from all government bodies.
Other stakeholders say the initiative is timely and are confident it will assist in reducing road crashes in the country.
To express our readiness and willingness to partner RTN, West African Automobile Services, and our sister ministry to ensure that the road is not only safe, that the road users remain healthy.
It will go a long way in reducing the severity of injuries and even death we experience while we use our highway.
They appealed to drivers and other road users to embrace the initiative. In Abuja, Omeka Amarachiku, NTA News.
And up next is our African Countdown 2023, and Ayodeji Makinde is our guide. Hello, Ayo.
Yeah, good to see you, Jumai. Welcome to our African Countdown. Let's begin by telling you that momentum is building in the camp of the Super Eagles ahead of their first match against the National Thunder of Equatorial Guinea at the Olympic Stadium of Ebimpe on Sunday at 3 p.m. Experienced duo of Kenneth Omeru and captain of the team, Ahmed Musa, were part of the team that lifted the trophy in 2013 and leading by example in camp with a renewed determination to go all out for the trophy on February 11. Earlier, I had a conversation with the team coordinator of the Super Eagles, Patrick Pascal, via Zoom at their camp in Abidjan before they departed for their training session, which ended about an hour ago.
Everything is going well. So for us, our mind is towards the match that is coming up. And the mood, even the same thing, the mood of the players is toward that match, the first match that we are going to play.
It's been 11 years since Nigeria last lifted Africa Cup of Nations title. Two members of that particular squad in 2013 are still available in 2024. How much of experience would they bring to the team?
Yeah, everything has time, and then, it has been long that we participated in AFCON, and we won the bronze the last time. And then for now, the players' mind is towards, to go above what we did the other AFCON, and then to make Nigerians, you understand, proud. That's what is inside of the players' mind. And then I tell you, everything, the concentration of the players and everything, is going very okay.
How do they fancy their chances of winning this year's championship?
Well, man, this is football. This is football, but normal, every professional footballer, it always think, you understand, positive, not negative. Mm-hmm. In their mind, they are professional players. But for us and them, is for them to go out, you understand, and showcase themselves, and then make Nigeria proud because of one thing that unites us and we love much, you understand, in Nigeria, is football. So they know it. They know it. They know it. They are from Nigeria. And that's why they wear that green, white, green. So they are representing their country. But I tell you, all of them, everybody here is not here with negative mind. They are here with positive mind towards the game. What we are telling Nigeria is almost everything that, we usually said. They should pray for us. We don't have any other country than Nigeria. So you are Nigerian, you have to support your country, Nigeria. So Nigeria is our country. Then they should pray for us, and then let us see what is going to happen here.
So let's keep our fingers crossed. But Coach Jose Peseiro is equally aware of the expectations from Nigerians when they take on Equatorial Guinea, host country Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea-Bissau in Group A. For other stories and facts ahead of AFCON 2023, Oche Ngbede reports.
Disaster was averted as the plane carrying the Gambian national team from Banjul to Cote d'Ivoire had to make a U-turn to the airport after 9 minutes of takeoff due to technical problems. According to preliminary investigation, there was a loss of cabin pressure. 2 members of the team suffered shock, but thankfully no one was hurt. In another vein, Cameroonian Vincent Aboubakar holds the record for the most goals scored in a single tournament, netting 8 times in the 2021 edition in Egypt. The 31-year-old scored in each of the 7 matches except for the semi-finals against Egypt. Meanwhile, his compatriot Samuel Eto'o holds the record for the highest goals with 18 goals in 29 AFCON matches. Elsewhere, the elite team of officials number 68 who oversees 54 matches in this year's showpiece. No Nigerian referees made the list of the 26 referees, 30 assistant referees, and 12 video assistant referees. However, the 6 African referees who were at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar are included as 5 female referees made a call to officiate in the AFCON. On another note, Senegal's Alois Cisse held an unwanted record of losing the final as a player in 2002 and as a coach in 2019. He, however, steered the team to victory in 2021. Will he be able to replicate his success again? Well, that is the big question. It's back to you, Ayodeji, in the studio.
Thanks, Oche. And of course, that's a big question. But right now, let's go back to Jumai for the rest of the news.
Yeah, thank you, Ayodeji. And we're all expecting, as Nigerians and other residents in the country have been assured of watching the 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations live on the Nigerian Television Authority and other broadcasting organizations. The leadership of exclusive right owners, Afro Sports, gave the assurance at the parley with sports journalist in Lagos. Olumide Eguntola has details.
The chief consultant, Afro Sports, Rotimi Pedro, explained to journalists in Lagos that most matches in developed countries of the world are available on free TV for all to enjoy and develop the next generation of football stars. Taking a cue from these, Afro Sports believe that international matches like the African Cup of Nations should be available for all.
We are here to announce that we've got it, and the African Cup of Nations would be available on free TV across the free-to-air broadcasters in the country. We have partnered with the Nigerian Television Authority. We have partnered with
AIT, with Silverberg, and with TBC, as well as 20 other bond members that will deliver the signals of the African Cup of Nations to the widest possible audience in Nigeria.
Football is supposed to be the world's game and it should be available to everybody. This is not a fight between pay TV and terrestrial. It's just to protect what you call the important premium sporting rights. Super Eagles, I should be able to watch Super Eagles anywhere I live in the country. And we're getting to a point where everything seems to be tied to you have to pay. And that is what we are trying to do here.
Executives of Afro Sports and other broadcasting stations, alongside other partners, also prayed as regulators in the industry to recognize the fact that Nigerians do not need to pay subscription to watch the Super Eagles play. In Lagos, Olumide Kuntola, NTA News.
And we wish the Super Eagles success at the tournament. That's NTA Network News for tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Jummai Yusuf.
Welcome, Karibu, Dalu, Ekabo, Akwaba. Get ready for an unparalleled football spectacle. It's the 2023 AFCON Highlight Show, Akwaba, Africa, where the rhythm of the game meets the heartbeat of Africa. It's the dance of the champions as the footballing warriors pursue glory on the continent's grandest stage. From the roaring stadiums to the jubilant streets, enjoy all the pulsating moments that define the African football experience. Join us live 10 a.m. every day, all through the tournament on Akwaba Africa, as the soccer maestros paint the football canvas with their precise passing, dazzling dribbles, and unstoppable shots. Feel the energy, embrace the passion, and immerse yourself in the football frenzy that unites nations. It's your front row seat as we break down the pivotal moments, tactical insights, and in-depth analysis